Thursday, September the 12th, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. A quorum of the committee is present. The first item on the agenda is for public comment for matters not appearing on the agenda. Comments relating to specific items on the agenda, of course, are always welcome at that specific time. So anyone for public comment? Anyone for public comment? Hearing none for public comment, we'll move then on to number 2 on the agenda, which is the consent agenda, which is approval of the minutes of the August 8th, 2019 meeting, action on sanitary sewer easement at 400 East Thomas Street, action on sanitary sewer easement at 904 Grand Avenue, action on stormwater maintenance agreement with Stratton Capital Bridge LLC at 102 West Bridge Street, and action on stormwater maintenance agreement for 2600 Stewart Avenue. Yes.
Can you pull the minutes from the consent agenda so I can abstain from that because I wasn't here, please?
Okay, we can do that, certainly. So the minutes, number A, approval of minutes of the August 8th, 2019 will be pulled from the consent agenda, and we'll take that as a separate item. So a motion then would be in order for the remainder of the consent agenda, basically letters B through E. A motion for that would be in order. There is a motion by Lisa. Is there a second? There is a second. Mary, any further comments or questions with regard to the consent agenda? Hearing none. All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is agreed to, and the consent agenda is agreed to. We'll move then on to the approval of the minutes of the August 8th, 2019 meeting. A motion to approve would be in order.
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second? There is a second. And we will register Mary Towers abstaining from that motion. All in favor of said motion, say, I should ask, are there any questions or comments with regard to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is agreed to, and the minutes then of August 8th, 2019 is approved with one abstention. Moving then on to the public hearing, number 3 on the agenda, public hearing discussion and possible action on vacating and discontinuing the public right-of-way between 1 Menard Plaza at 16 Menard Plaza. Is there anyone here to comment with regard to the public hearing? You can come forth. We need your name and address, please, and if you could limit your comments to 3 minutes or thereabouts, we'd appreciate it.
Sure. Rodney Wecken with Menard Incorporated, 5101 Menard Drive, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, 54703. I just want to say that Menard Inc. is in favor of the vacation. This is a remnant right-of-way that was left over from our previous store location, and we're just working towards consolidating this parcel into one tract and making it more marketable. So, thanks.
Thank you very much. Anything further with regard to the public? Anything further with regard to the public hearing? I'll ask it one more time. Anyone speaking to the public hearing? Hearing no further comment, we close the public hearing and open it up for staff and then to committee. Alan?
Staff has no objections to the vacation.
Move to approve the vacation.
There is a motion to approve. There's a second by Becky. Any further comments or questions with regard to the motion to approve? Hearing none, all in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is agreed to, and that vacation is approved. Thank you very much for coming this evening. Moving then on to number 4, discussion possible action. We have quite a few traffic issues before us this evening, street parking specifically. Discussion possible action creating section 10.48.100 special permits for street parking, section 10.48.125 liability of owners for parking violations, amending section 10.01.080 penalty section, section 10.20.080 no parking and restricted parking areas designated, section 10.48.050 hours of operation for metered parking, I just want to make sure I get the, section 10.48060, rates for metered parking. Section 10.48070, hours of operating in parking ramps. Section 10.48.090, monthly permits. Section 10.48.115, state sales tax added to parking fees. Section 10.48.120, violations. Section 10.48.130, enforcement. Section 10.48140, collections, repealing and recreating. Section 10.48010, definitions. Section 10.48030, installation of parking meters. Section 10.48040, operation of parking meters, and repealing Section 10.48.020, designation of parking spaces. That action is before you this evening. Staff, we have our city attorney and Mary Ann Grote with us this evening. Any comments from staff this evening?
Just that Cord and Tara and I worked together to try to get all the changes that we thought were necessary to accommodate our new parking pay stations and some of the new parking rules in the downtown. And we think we've accomplished that through these ordinances. We have all of the pay stations purchased. There's one in the Maple Room that's all programmed, and we are just continuing to move forward, and by adopting these ordinances, they'll go into effect November 1, but it will allow us to make the final step of ordering all of the parking signage.
Any questions from the committee? No questions. Motion to approve the outlined street parking ordinances, motion would be in order? Okay, is there a second? I'm sorry. Mary, okay.
Question.
You have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Can you just walk us through the temporary parking restrictions again for parking lot 6?
Oh, isn't that a separate agenda item?
Is it?
That's
Yeah.
number,
It was part of the same packet, so.
Oh,
Forgive me, I'm being told that they can't hear you in the microphone, so.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's part of the packet, so that's why I had the question.
okay.
It's on the third page of the packet, addressed to CISM.
It is a separate agenda item, though. It's the
Is it?
next one, I think.
I think it's 6.
it's number 6 on the,
Okay, sorry, it's just the way how it was bundled in our packet. It looks like it's all together, like it's a supporting document for the resolution, Mary Ann, so then I'll wait until the next one, then maybe it was just put it in incorrectly.
so motion is before you, with the with the itemized section numbers with regard to the Wausau ordinances. All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is agreed to, and those will now become, do they move on to the city council at the next meeting of the city council? Okay. Moving then on to number 5, discussion possible action on creating section 10.20.035, parking of unregistered motor vehicles prohibited, and section 10.20.036, parking over parking lines prohibited. Somebody wants to,
We asked, thank you, we asked for inclusion of these two areas based on having observed this in practice. Currently, there's a inspections ordinance that restricts unregistered vehicles visible from the right-of-way on private property. And we do have issues with sometimes unregistered vehicles parked in public right-of-way and city-owned lots and/or ramps. So we're looking to sort of mirror some of the restrictions that are on the inspection side on the street to not have unregistered vehicles and vehicles of disrepair parked in those public areas, public spaces. The parking over lines, that section is currently in 10.48, irrespective of the changes, it was already in 10.48. So we're looking to duplicate that on the road where there's marked stalls, because we frequently can have people just paying, or not heeding those those marked stalls and parking wherever they want, and then creating sort of a ripple effect for other cars trying to park in those locations, and then it creates less space for parking. And in the instances where that occurs, we'd like to be able to enforce it if needed. Obviously, there's discretion in enforcement, warnings can be issued and such a thing, but it allows us the ability to enforce that on the road instead of just in parking ramps or parking lots.
Motion to approve would be in order. Becky, is there a second? Mary? Comments or questions with regard to the motion to approve on creating these specific sections with regard to unregistered motor vehicles and parking over parking lines prohibited? Any questions with regard to those? Hearing none, all in favor of said motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is agreed to, and those sections are created. Moving then on to discussion, possible action on authorizing temporary parking restrictions for parking lot 6 for the months of September and October. Somebody would want.
Do you want
Mary-
a motion first before?
Well, you can, yes, I would appreciate a motion first.
Okay, motion.
And there's a second by Becky. Any comments or questions with regard to this?
Sorry, everything is out of order in our packet here, so we've
Oh.
got to go back to the third page.
It actually isn't. If you go here, it's.
Maybe it ended up in both. No, well, look, I mean, here's the first resolution, right?
I got it here under 6.
Yeah, I don't have it.
See, this is what I'm looking at, something totally different.
Yeah.
Well, do you have questions?
Oh, yeah, I do. So resurfacing will be done on the parking, sorry, let me get to the right page here. Is it parking lot, 6?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right there by Sears. So the temporary parking restriction is just the month after?
Right.
Okay, and are we just trying to do that until like it settles in or something?
No, it really was just to allow all of the new parking systems to go in at the same time, because they had to pull all of the old meters out to have it resurfaced. And then we thought, rather than try to put some of the new parking rules in for just that location and then the rest go in on November 2nd, we thought to just roll out the entire program on November 2nd and just use this as a 2-hour time zone parking lot in that 1 month.
Okay.
That's really, and then we thought, we could encounter similar issues in a different lot, because they'll be pulling out meters, because that is a time-consuming task. So, maybe 2 days, they would want to have the lot be 2-hour time zone parking or something. We just thought we would put that extra provision in there during this implementation in case we needed some special rules during that interim.
And they put temporary signage on them then
Yes.
during that time?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll move to approve that item.
I think we already had.
Yeah, we
Oh, you
have
have
that,
the
we have
motion?
that
Never mind,
motion in
that's
front of us
okay.
already, yes. Any further comments or questions with regard to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is agreed to, and those temporary park restrictions for parking lot 6 for the months of September and October are thus approved. Moving then on to discussion, possible action authorizing the Director of Public Works to make and enforce other temporary parking restrictions during parking system changes. This is referred to also in the memo from Mary Ann in the second paragraph. In addition, we would like CISM to authorize the Director of Public Works to make and enforce temporary regulations to cover any other special conditions that would occur during parking implementation. We don't have a specific memo on that, but that's incorporated into that memo of Mary Ann. So a motion to approve that would be in order.
I'll move to approve that.
Lisa's motion, is there a second? There is a second by Becky. Any comments or questions with regard to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of said motion, say aye.
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 Pose?
No, I was aye, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I missed that when I put my hand up.
The motion thus is approved. Moving then on to discussion possible action on county bridge aid application for Bridge Street Bridge. Alan?
There's a summary in the packet here that TJ put together. Basically, we'd like this committee to approve engineering applying for the county bridge aid funds. We were looking at doing on Bridge Street, the Bridge Street Bridge, some expansion joints. We've sounded the bridge, and there's some unsound concrete. We'd like to take care of that. We have an estimate of about $300,000 to do that work, and that would be a 50-50 split with the county. So we're just asking for permission to apply for that. We'll see how much the county is willing to give on that, out of that, but we'll apply for it.
That never hurts to ask. I'll move to approve.
Motion
Aren't
to
they
approve?
required, I'm sorry,
Is there a second,
they're
please?
required to do that.
There is a second by
Well-
Mary.
I think it'll depend on their applications and how much they get from the other communities and how much money they have. They may elect not to fund all of it, I'm not sure.
Any further comments or questions with regard to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is agreed to, and thus we'll move to submit the county bridge aid application for Bridge Street Bridge. Then moving on to the next item on the agenda is establish assessment rates for the 2020 construction projects.
Every year, if we have accessible projects, we look at setting the rate. It has been at $42 for a couple of years now, and I'm recommending that we don't change it. Prices have not gone up significantly. Lucky we've had some pretty decent bids in the last couple of years, including this year. That would put we'd keep the accessible foot rate at $42 per accessible foot, and the $500 for the sewer laterals. I would recommend we keep that the same for 2020.
So a motion to approve those assessment rates for, would be in order?
I'll move to approve the assessment rates for 2020 as recommended.
Is there a second? Becky, second. Any comments or questions with regard to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is agreed to, and those will maintain the $42 per accessible rate and for 2020 street construction projects. Moving then on to construction update for 2019 projects. Ellen, what's happening?
I guess I can answer specific questions. I went to print it out just now, and I couldn't print it out, but anyway. They are on Facebook. The updates are, and I can email them to you too if you want. They're updated usually every Wednesday or Thursday. They go up. Just as a general, they're all, slated to finish the big ones, Town Line.
Yeah, speak to the big ones. We have some
All
big
right.
ones coming up.
All right, so the big ones, as far as Town Line, they are paved from Grand Avenue up to Northwestern with the binder, the curbs on. Now they're going up the hill, which obviously the weather the last couple of days hasn't helped that. They're having problems with water coming down the hill, but hopefully next week they can button up the storm sewer going up the hill and build the road. That one is slated to, it's optimistic, but they're thinking the second week in October for Town Line to finish. Thomas, they have the curb on basically from the river to the railroad tracks, and they're actually supposed to put the curb on from the railroad tracks to Fourth early next week, and then they have the curb in the center that'll follow that, and obviously there's a lot of landscaping to do out there. We have a little higher end landscaping plan, and then the paving. One thing, just as a little caveat that may delay that project, is the railroad. I think we're going to be done before they're going to come in and put the crossing surface in. They can't get their crews and do the crossing surface until October 21st. So we may have about a week in there where it's just going to sit in binder, but we'll be waiting for the railroad to put their crossing surface in. But they are scheduled for the week of October 21st. That means that final paving, we try to schedule the week after that, so that'd be like right, almost touching November to get that finalized. First Avenue is probably, the most work is required. They're probably, not, I wouldn't say behind, but there's a lot of work to do out there. That's concrete pavement. They've just started some of the curb and gutter and sidewalk. All the underground work will be complete by the end of next week, all the sewer, water, and storm, which means they'll just be concentrating on road building. So that's a good thing, that all the underground work is done, like I said, by the end of next week. You've probably noticed out here, Second Street, from McClellan to Grant just started. Our contractor will have that. It's just a one-block street reconstruction. That's just going to take a couple weeks. One last project that hasn't started yet is First Street from Short to basically the dead end just south of Bridge Street. That'll probably start next week or the week after. Not a lot of underground work on that, so that's going to go quick too. It's the same contractor that's doing Second Street.
Question, do we anticipate a significant delay with First? I mean, the contract drop dead date on all that stuff was supposed to be 10/31 unless they had mitigating circumstances, but do they have all that riprap and stuff done that needed to be done on that hillside and everything already?
Well, there's no riprap on the hill there. It was all sheet piling. Sheet piling's done.
That's done,
Yep,
okay.
and they are going to build a small retaining wall up there yet, but that'll be done too. I think everything will be done before the end of the
Okay,
October.
Okay.
They're on working day contracts out there,
okay,
so if they do get rain days, they get extensions, but
right.
there are penalties if they don't meet them.
So we're still on schedule for 10/31 for First Avenue, and then for Thomas Street, we're kind of like early November?
I would say the last week in October to the first week in November for Thomas Street.
Okay,
I think, like I said, our contractor will be ready before that, but I think we're going to have about a week's delay due to the railroad.
okay. So
And
I can just assume first week or second week of November for all that detour to kind of go away?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the first one to open up, according to the schedule now, is Town Line. Although if you'd go out there, you wouldn't think so, but that's what the contractor's telling us. I mean, if you looked at that hill now,
Okay.
there's a lot of dirt to be, sitting up that hill yet.
Right, thank you.
Any other comments or questions with regard to 2019? Hearing none. Future agenda items, anything specific? Otherwise, we'll find some things for next month. A motion to adjourn would thus be in order. There is a motion by Becky. Is there a second? Mary? All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.